Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, run, free, run for the hill. Kiara loves TV. Yes, I made a theme song so that I can talk about all my favorite shows. Oh yeah. And this is just your disclaimer that this is not me talking about any of the actors themselves, but more so their characters. Please do not attack me in the comments. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, even those who disagree with me. But let's keep it friendly. All right, let's get started with the show.
That's our missing woman, all right.
Hey, little lady. Face is going to be on the front page, every paper in the state.
Y'all, I watched too much Family Guy. I thought it was going to be like some kind of quagmire-y, like, joke. The place my mind just went to, and he was like, hey, little lady. I'm like, oh my God, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? I've watched too much Family Guy recently. Oh my God. If you have not had a chance to watch the last installment of this little Desperate Housewives series, please check it out on my channel. Thank you.
You found your sister's body.
Why is she shocked? She came into town saying, I know that my sister has passed. What is she shocked about? Also, guys, this little X right here keeps popping up on the screen. I don't know why, but it's very annoying. Just ignore it.
My insurance company's finally cutting my check next week. I won.
Dang, we are like, what is this? This is episode 12, and she's just now getting her house? Yikes. That is Elena coded. It's like Lorelai Gilmore and Elena Gilbert had a baby, and out pops Susan. So news is starting to spread around that they found Martha Huber. As we all know, at the end of the last episode, the jogger found her buried in the ground.
See how that works?
It's like her and that cop all over again. He slammed the door extra hard to let it...
Hand and hurt his feelings. Pick me up at 1 and we'll do something fun.
If I move more than 100 feet from that telephone, an alarm sound, I'm back in jail.
Look at them all. Vultures. We might as well give the people what they want. Martha died a violent death. Oh. Apparently, there was a struggle. They found scratching. There are no signs that she had been...
I'm done.
I think it's no personal checks.
Like, she wasn't lying. They did want the sordid details, and they did want, and I don't know why, I love the way she said that. Details. Normally stuff like that irritates me. Like, when people say stuff like mature instead of mature, like, it irritates the mess out of me. But when the way that she said details, it did something for me. Anyway, the point is that she gave the details like they wanted, and they were eating it up. I was eating it up. Shoot.
Yours. Deal?
Yeah.
This is like the number one thing that I've seen people say who like are parenting coaches and like people who work in stuff where they deal with kids with either behavioral issues or like they're trying to basically teach parents. I don't want to say how to parent, but they're teaching them like better methods to approach their children to get them to cooperate with them. And they say that bribes are the number one no-no. And I feel like sometimes authoritative parenting or like gentle parenting, because I feel like I've seen so many people say it on like TikTok, especially, that gentle parenting has gotten such a bad rap and it's gotten like confused with permissive parenting, which I could talk about this all day. You guys, if you don't care, just skip. I agree with a lot of people who are saying that it's gotten completely misconstrued because people are confusing gentle parenting for permissive parenting. Permissive parenting is when, like, let's say, your kid is not, you want them to stop banging something on the wall. And so you're like, hey, Johnny, stop banging this thing on the wall. Like, you shouldn't do that, sweetie. And then you just kind of sit there and you do nothing. That is what permissive parenting is. You're saying you want something to happen, but you're not making it happen. You're not enforcing the boundary. What authoritative parenting would be, you still keep that same tone of like, you want to be firm, but you also want to be respectful of them as a human being. And when it doesn't happen, like when whatever you're asking doesn't happen, you make it happen. You make them get up. You physically pick them up. You move their body to make them do what it is that you want them to do. A lot of people who say stuff like, well, gentle parenting doesn't work. I feel like it's a lot more complex than what they probably understand. And that's not really their fault, because the examples that some people have been given, like, you can only know so much based off of those examples. One reason that this parenting style often like doesn't work and people make jokes and like they're like, see, it doesn't work, it only works when I yell at them, is because that type of parenting often is supposed to be started in a younger age where you can physically make them do things, and it's a lot easier to make them do things versus when they're older and they're bigger, you know, it's just a lot harder. But it doesn't mean that it's completely impossible. It's just that I think that when they get older, it's going to take a lot more consistency. I could go on and on and on and on and on about parenting and all that. I won't for the sake of time, but I could literally talk about this for hours. I do talk about this for hours in my own personal circles because it's just so fascinating to me. Okay, so before we get into the next part, I just want to also say, in regards to last episode that I talked about, I feel like it's kind of messed up that Lynette and Tom fired the nanny the way that they did, because of, obviously you shouldn't be naked. Like, I wouldn't have made that choice personally. I would not have gotten naked in somebody else's home, knowing that like this is someone's home, and yes, I live here because I'm like watching their kids, but this is not my home. So I would not have felt so comfortable just being naked like that, even if it was just for a quick second. And I get it. The intention of what she was doing was her she just wanted to do it real quick, get back to her room. It wasn't she was just walking around naked, but at the same time, I wouldn't have felt so comfortable. So I feel like she was wrong on that part, but also I just feel like it's a little messed up that Lynette took her out of the home where she was already working and she was getting paid. And yes, Lynette offered to pay her more. And yes, it was a toxic work environment at the other place. But, you know, like she snatched her out of her previous workplace and then, you know, was like, oh, come work for me. It'll be so much better. And then it's like, soon as something like this happens where like Tom, I feel like should have really just controlled himself and been, again, a gentleman. He made it bigger than what I feel like it had to be. And then she just gets fired. And it's like, I'm just thinking about, like, if this was a real situation, the effect that would have, you know? But that's the end of my thoughts about Claire. I did just want to say that I feel like them firing her, while I, on some level, get it because she shouldn't have been naked. But it's also like, again, you took her out of her previous workplace just to throw her right back out there. And now she has no job. Like, it's not like she referred her to somebody else or like there's something else lined up for her. Now she's just stuck. And she took a chance working for Lynette. I don't know.
Mommies are the same way. We need our downtime, and if we don't get it, we end up saying and doing things which we don't normally do.
Oh, before we get into them, guys, look at my jammies. I have to talk about it every time I have like some really cute ones on because yeah, I just do. I love Lady and the Tramp. Like anything I could possibly find that has like something like this where it's all cutesy and stuff, I have to wear it. I love it. That was my favorite, one of my absolute favorite Disney movies as a kid. I love them so much.
George, you shouldn't have.
I love that he's speaking her love language, and you know, he's just, I really I enjoy their little dynamic. I'll just say that. I'm trying not to spoil much for the people who haven't seen it and are watching it with me in a way, but yeah.
I am so screwed.
So now there's a kink in the plan. Do you remember how within the first few episodes, Susan burned down Edie's house and never told her, basically? Yeah, that's starting to come up again because Mrs. Huber was keeping journals. She was keeping journals of the details of her life and other people's lives, which I'm pretty sure included something about Susan burning down Edie's house. And that could get out, and also that could go to the police, or better yet, it could just get back to Edie and she's dead.
It's great dirt. I even put it in my journal. You're gonna have to guess. The police will probably just let it go. Are you high? Edie hates me.
Are you high? I love when you can tell that an actress who's playing the daughter of another actress has been hanging around them very closely, because just how she said this just now,
You're gonna have to suck up to Edie, Britt.
that was pure Susan. Like, you could see the Susan in her coming out. And I just love little details like that. I love things that make the show feel even more real. I think I've said this before, but I watch shows to disconnect from reality. That's why it's very hard for me to watch stuff that have like racism in them, or they have like, you know, homophobia, transphobia, like anything that's super problematic, because it stops me from being able to feel like real life doesn't exist. And that's literally the point of why I watch shows and movies and whatnot. I want to escape. I know some people feel like they like a little bit of realism thrown in there, and I do to a certain degree. Like, I want the characters to feel as real as possible, but I don't like negative components getting thrown in because, again, I watch it for the comfort and the coziness and, like, yeah, I love the drama. I mean, you know, I'm eating that up, but I'm saying I want to just escape. That's it. And I cannot express that enough. Sometimes it's a little hard because certain shows I want to pick, but then I don't want to have to feel forced to talk about the things that are uncomfortable. Like, I'll talk about them in my private circles, you know, with people that I'm close to and whatnot, or like I'll even talk about it on my Instagram. But when I'm watching a show, I don't want to think about how awful the world is, how awful it actually is. Like, I want to think of it like a fairy tale almost, with drama and scandal. Does that make sense to anyone out there? Like, I don't know. I have so many thoughts about it. I have so many, I get enough of that in my real life. I just need, like, you just, like Lynette said earlier, that's a perfect example. Like Lynette said earlier, like, sometimes you just need that downtime. And when you don't get it, you can get a little crazy, you know, and that's what watching TV is for me. I hope I explained that well.
Pack up and move on with your life.
So the guy that was like, laughter, pisses me off. That guy, basically Mike's boss or whatever, that has him out there trying to dig up dirt on the people in Wisteria Lane. He ransacked his house and took all the money, all that cash that Susan saw. He took it all, and he took any information that Mike was gathering on the people of Wisteria Lane, and he wants him out of there pretty much immediately. He's telling him basically that he's fired. So yeah. Oh, and Susan now has to suck up to Edie Britt to try to keep her from pressing charges once she does get wind of the fact that she burned down her house.
Sorry for the mess.
Okay.
She knows she's wrong for that. So Lynette keeps trying to get into this yoga class, and she's already tried getting there on time, getting there early, and she cannot get her kids in early enough that they can be in the daycare. Like, she can get into the class, I think, but she can't get into the daycare. She's lugging around Parker, who's been having a cold, and her baby. So it's just made it difficult for her to get there, you know, within enough time. And the lady tells her pretty much tough toenails, you know, you can't get in, you can't get in, you know, whatever. And so finally, when Lynette shows up with Parker, and Parker's head is shaved because he let his brothers put gum in his hair, which I just love how this all comes together and like creates a story. And like, you wouldn't think that this was leading up to this, coincidentally, but it is. So Parker shows up, bald head, coughing, and the lady thinks that Parker has the big C. So she says she'll make room for her kids to get into the daycare. And Lynette goes along with it because Lynette wants to really get that downtime that she was talking about earlier.
I'll go with you, Edie.
I can tell that the moment she said that, she regretted it.
No babies.
First of all, you have an ankle bracelet on. Ain't nobody popping out no babies with you anytime soon. And on top of that, you guilty. You have alluded to the fact that you're guilty. Ain't nobody having no babies with you.
You're the man of the house. You can't even leave it.
You're the man of the house. You can't even leave it. She ate with that.
Sure, I've never fired a gun before.
George is so cute. He's like little. He's so cute.
Like getting out of the house and trying new things.
Well, we sure have had some fun.
I'm starting to forget what it feels like to be lonely. What is that perfume you're wearing?
I'm not wearing perfume. Oh, I was making macaroons before I left the house. Okay, now I want you to...
What a woman, man. What a woman.
Breath and squeeze the trigger.
Fucking idiot. Why would you... He must have been really lost in the sauce. I can't even blame him. If I was him, I would have been down bad too. But I'm just saying, like, you can't wait a second.
I'm sorry you lost your toe. The doctor said it's the middle.
He lost his toe? I was like, why is he sitting up in bed all looking all sulky? I would be sulky too. I lost my toe.
Really won't change your life one little bit.
Finally get the chance, and I end up blowing off a toe. This type of thing always happens to me, and I know I'll get over it.
That tickled me.
But it'd be so surprising I would try to kiss you.
Because I hate to break it to you, George. You're so sweet. But she's using you as a rebound. I don't know why that isn't obvious to you. Maybe it's because you haven't had that much experience in the dating realm, but she's clearly using you as a rebound, and she does not see any. She's still in love with Rex. Like, as much as she want to deny it, as much as I want to deny it, because what in the hell? But anyway, she's still in love with him, and yeah, you don't really stand a chance. Does that clear things up? I think she just wanted to have fun. She just wanted to, like, have a different experience that wasn't Rex, because Rex is being such an asshole. She didn't really want to hurt George. I think it's just, she's not fully over Rex. She wants to be, but she's not.
Everyone hated us.
I would have hung out with Edie in high school. Yeah, I would have hung out with Edie in high school. But it's hard to believe, in my opinion, that Edie was amongst that crowd. I mean, look at her.
Why are you fighting me?
I'm running out of time. Seems I have a tumor. Apparently it's pressing on my brain.
Ooh, the guilt that will be radiating from my body. Like, woo!
Mommy, am I dying?
People just think that because I shaved your head.
Like I'm so pathetic for even thinking that you could love me someday.
Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Did you hear that? It's the tone change that happened when he went from being like, hey, and then he was all like I'm so pathetic that you could. Oh my God.
George, please don't go. George, I'm George, here, take
Get away from me! I don't need you! I don't need anybody!
Brent's last night at the boat.
Get away from me!
Oh my God.
Why did I play it again? Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, run, free, run for the hill! Carlos asked Gabrielle to promise him that if he goes away to jail, that she won't leave him. I think she only, based off the way she said it.
Edie, I burned your house down.
Well,
Can you ever forgive me?
no.
Roll me back. Now.
Edie be letting the intrusive thoughts win every time. It's crazy to me that she even told her that out there in the boat, she could have flipped the boat over out of anger. Like, you didn't think she was gonna have a reaction? And I guess it just came out because it was like, she kept saying all these really nice things and she just felt so guilty, and her guilt just ate away at her and she had to say it. But girl, could you have picked any other time? Ooh. Ooh, and it went in her mouth. They're just quietly building this story with Paul in the background and with Mike. So we got, it's crazy. They just got so many different pieces on the, I don't know anything about chess, but I'm gonna go with it. Chessboard. I just like how it's slowly just coming together. And that is one of the beauties about older shows. You get way more episodes. They can drag stuff out a lot more. Sometimes it can be a bad thing. Sometimes it can be an annoying thing because they just make it just go on and on. But in cases like this, I like that it's just being sprinkled in, because in the meantime, we're getting to know the other characters and they are starting to feel like they're part of your own world, if that makes sense.
Can she get enough for a couple months?
When she closed the door, you could see the dust flying off.
I'm gonna miss you.
It paused at the right time.
On this planet. Nothing to happen to them. Too late.
And when I said I remember George, I don't necessarily remember everything that he did. I remember the outcome of his character. I remember like certain things here and there. I don't remember it all. Yo. I don't even know what to say about that. Anyway, the episode ends with George looking at Bree on a surveillance camera that I guess he took home to stare at her on. And he kind of is on the outs with Bree right now because I guess he felt like she was pitying him and he didn't like that. Carlos has tampered with Gabrielle's birth control pills, which pisses me off to a whole new level. Lynette is trying to do yoga from home, and Mike is still on the case looking for Deirdre, which is the daughter of that guy that hired him to come to Wisteria Lane in the first place. And Susan still has no idea. I think at the end of the day, Edie just wants friends. Like, she just wants to be their friend so bad, even though she tries to mask it with this I don't care about anybody, like, you know, I'm just gonna do me kind of attitude. But I totally feel like she cares and she wants to be their friend. She wants to be on the inner circle, and they just reject her nonstop because, I mean, she's hot. I think they're envious of her in a way, and they also worry about her potentially going after their husbands because she's not married. They treat her like a pariah, which is interesting because I've been listening to Kristen Davis and her podcast, Are You a Charlotte? It's a Sex and the City podcast where, like, I think she's going to be bringing on guests and talking about her own memories of the show and just like her own interpretation. And she was talking about how it was interesting that they put single people at the forefront, and the people who were in relationships in Sex and the City at the beginning were supposed to be like, they were the villains instead of being the victors in the show. And I thought that was a very interesting thing that was said on the podcast. I've really been enjoying it, by the way. If you haven't had a chance, I definitely recommend it because I just love it. I love that, you know, she's entering this world of creating content. You know, she's doing a podcast, but she's creating content, and she's getting to see like how vicious sometimes people can be. And my piece of advice to anybody who is trying to venture into this world of creating content and whatever, like, do whatever you want to do. If you want to just scream into the camera for 50 minutes, do it. Like, I'm not even kidding. Just do it. Do whatever you want, because there is an audience for you. There are people out there who are going to love you for just being yourself. And I have been so blessed to have that experience with you guys. I tried so hard not to be annoying with it, but I really do appreciate every person that tunes in every week and watches and comments and just pours so much love into like just me. And it's overwhelming. Like, it's an overwhelming thing because I swear I created this channel. I always say this. I created this channel not thinking anyone would watch it. So just the fact that it's even gotten this far is incredible to me. And yeah, it's just like, but she was saying on the podcast about how people were commenting like, oh, you say like too much. Listen, I say like about every 3 seconds. I can't help it. I even if I were to actively try, I could not do it because that's just a part of my vocabulary. And I'm not going to be ashamed of that. Like, that's just part of how I talk. People complain when there are content creators who are inauthentic and they're trying to put on a facade. And then when you are yourself, then you have certain people who just have to tell you that they don't like what you do and they disagree with how you're running your channel and blah, blah, blah. Like, create your own channel. That's how I feel about it. I feel like if you don't like what somebody else is doing, or you don't see the type of influencer, the type of content creator, the type of art or media that you want in the world, maybe the reason for that is because you're supposed to create it. Like, that's one of the things that motivated me to create this channel is I saw a quote like that was saying like, it was basically just saying that if you don't, the same thing I just said, if you don't see the type of media or the type of art out there that you feel like should be in the world, that's your inner power and your talent talking, and you should be the one to create it. So that's how I feel about that. I feel like, again, if you like, just do it. Just do it. Just create your own. Like, you don't have to go to somebody else's channel and try to tell them how they should be doing things. And I'm not talking about constructive criticism. I'm talking about the people who say stuff like, and I'll always go back to this because this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my comment section, is one time somebody was like, oh my God, like, you talk too much in your videos. Like, if you don't like the show, then just don't. It just cracks me up because it's a commentary channel. It's a commentary channel. That's like me going to Dunkin' Donuts and being like, you guys shouldn't sell donuts. What? It's just crazy. Like, you don't have to enjoy every piece of media. You don't have to enjoy every single person who's on the internet with a camera. You don't have to enjoy it all. It doesn't all have to be to your satisfaction. I promise you, there's somebody out there who's thinking like you do, or who probably models the type of stuff that you want to see. Go look for that person. Maybe that ain't me. Maybe that ain't me, and that's okay. Goodbye. Goodbye. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Anyways, on to other things. I had a very lovely interaction with somebody who asked me what type of personality type I was. I'm gonna put it on the screen because I loved this interaction. They said, way off the subject, but are you an INFP? The moment you said you were introvert, I'm sure they meant the moment you said you were an introvert, I'm like, INFP? I found your channel the other day and I've been binge watching your videos. I can relate to a lot of your views and we watch a lot of the same shows, so I was just curious. So I responded, I said, oh my God, I love this comment. I had to respond. First of all, thank you for sharing that you're enjoying the channel. I'm always so happy to hear that. And to answer your question, yes, I feel like I identify with that a lot. So then they responded and said, dude, I think movie and TV show characters and storylines provide great opportunities to reflect. As an over and frequent thinker, LOL, I really appreciate and enjoy your content. And so I responded, thank you, I agree. Film has completely changed my perspective on life so many times, and I love sharing I love sharing my little ramblings with you guys. And I just love that. I love comments like that where it's like, that was very niche. That was extremely niche to even bring up INFP, because I do not meet a lot of people in my regular everyday life that even know what that is. So that was lovely. But I also love this interaction because I think it just this person put this extremely perfect about what the whole point of the channel is. And I think that, to piggyback on what I was just saying, you should always know why you're creating something and why you're doing something, because that's going to continuously fuel you in moments where creating content or just doing things like this can be overwhelming and hard at times, and it can feel like a little bit much. And so knowing your why is gonna push you through. So again, I love this interaction, and yeah, like that's the point of this thing. It's literally just taking shows and creating conversation around them, which I think is what everybody should be doing anyway. That's just my personal opinion. But like, I just love that interaction. I just wanted to share it with you guys. This is a really long closing. I normally try to make my closings pretty brief, but I did want to show you guys one last thing before you go. I got this crystal. This is a rose quartz for you guys who are not crystal girlies. I'm actually just getting into crystals. Like I'm trying to act like I'm trying to act like I'm a connoisseur. Like I'm trying to act like I'm so deep into crystals, and I'm not. I just got into it. I'm not gonna lie, at one point I was one of those people that was like, crystals, I mean, what's the point? But I learned the science behind crystals, and so I got really into it. This is my new hyperfixation. At one point my hyperfixation was candles, it's been wings, it's been a bunch of different things, but right now it is learning as much about astrology. Just, I love understanding things about the world even more. I'm a big believer in, I've said this before, but I'm a big believer in manifestation, just because I follow like law of assumption. I wish there was a place where I could just talk about this nonstop, because it's so many things I've been manifesting lately that have just been, I've been knocking them out the park. Like there is no doubt for me that manifestation exists, and that you can manifest the things that you see in your mind. They can come into the 3D. I know some people don't like that term, the 3D, but I like identifying things. That's part of, it's in my chart, guys. Oh my God, I want to talk to you guys about it so bad. I want to talk to you guys about this kind of stuff so bad. I don't have anyone to share like my little astrology stuff with, or oh my God, I just love talking about it so much. But I know this is not really the time, because it's like we're supposed to be talking about the show. Let me get out of here, because I'm just going on, and if you let me, I will never shut up. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye guys.